Hey everybody, this is Grace, and I had made a video public today that I had uploaded, I don't know when, about doctors, healthcare professionals, arrogant ones, and about people not being there when they're there. You know, like people, cashiers, or sometimes it's pharmacy techs. This one's going to be about pharmacies. And, you know, people that they're just not there. The way I put it is they're off texting somebody in their mind. Texting somebody in their mind, and they're not really there. They're thinking of something else. And that's just the way I put it. Of course, none of this is 100%, and it's just the way I see it. But I do want to I want to start doing more videos about these rather arrogant, and some would call them narcissistic. Now, that's not a diagnosis, it's just the behaviors. They're so self-absorbed. It's all about them, and they don't really care. They don't show any empathy for the customer. This is one of the real-life examples of that kind of behavior. Not really feeling any, like I said, empathy. Okay. Now, I can't remember exactly how this happened. It was just this past couple of months or so, in which order. But I think that what happened, this is about a pharmacy, and I've had so many troubles with so many pharmacies. It's not just one chain, not one, at all chain. I've had various troubles, and the trouble usually, almost always, every time, is about blood pressure medication. Just think about that, blood pressure medication, and they're causing problems with it. That's very weird, really, seriously. And it's different ones, it's different chains. Like I've said, I've switched chain to chain, trying to find a good, decent one. Not happening. I mean, I found one, but it's let's say it's the better of all the evils. Not a chain, but an actual location of one of the chains. So, okay. But basically, here it is. Now, in order for me to get the medications, I'm very highly sensitive to medications. Now, pharmacists understand this, but my doctors don't seem to, and nurse practitioners, I haven't found any that understand that recently. But I really didn't understand it myself until recently, and pharmacists, plural, are the ones who told me, yes, you can be highly sensitive to certain medications. You can be highly sensitive to the dye that they use for them, what they clean their stuff with, and all this. But I've heard that one many years. So I have to have a certain brand. Okay, not brand, but say it's a generic, but a certain one. And the other ones will mess with me. Okay, so it has to be these two. In order to get those, it's two so far. Two medication. One's for diabetes, and the other one is for high blood pressure, hypertension. In order to get those, I can only find one location that I said that was the decent one out of all of them, most decent. And that's not saying much, but they're overall okay. So I have to get it from that location. The other ones, they don't want to order it. That's too much work. Yeah. And anyway, and after so many problems, they put pop-ups saying this patient and this customer only gets 30 days supply. Do not fill it for anymore. Here's her phone number, but for emergencies only. If you have to call her, all these things, pop-ups. But apparently the pop-ups go away after a certain time, and they don't tell you that. And I had to have them take out my phone number, because every time I pick up my medications, every 30 days, I would get text after text and emails and all this stuff. Unbelievable. So it was trying to get them taken off was unbelievable process, and it just most irritating thing I've ever been through. Now, to me, I remember when I was a child, you go to the pharmacy, you give them their prescription, they fill it. It doesn't take you 20 days or hours. And I mean, most of my life it's been like this until more recent year. Well, I say half of my life. No, it used to be customer service if they didn't really mess up. It wasn't a thing for pharmacists to mess up, not at all. For anybody that worked in the pharmacy, no, you don't mess up. You got to be there when you're there. You're not. Well, when I was younger, you didn't have texting. You can't be off somewhere else. You need to be there with your brain. Okay, I know I'm rambling and I need to get to this. But anyway, so I have to get it from one store. Well, the pharmacist failed to order it and to have a supply. So I called to, I tried to do the app. I downloaded the app, and the app, you pay a certain amount per month. I'm not going to say where this is. And then they deliver it. Okay, no charge. You're paying a monthly fee. They deliver it. No problem. They have to compete with all these other ones too. And so this is great. They're like in the next day or two, or what, depending on what day it is and all that, if it's a holiday or a weekend or whatever. But it's wonderful. Okay. And basically you got to go in the app, request it, and then they fill it, and then you request it after that to be delivered. Now, that's a process that shouldn't have to happen, but yeah, an additional process. You have to go back later on and order it to be delivered. So, yeah. Well, anyway, this pharmacist didn't order it. I called the tech, told me, well, he could get it through another location, but it would be coming to me from that other location, but it would be nearby, so it wasn't going to charge, whatever they do on their end. So he was going to call them and let them know. He was telling me, well, you call them and you call them too and you verify. And I said, why would I do that? Why do you need me to do an additional, to do this when you're doing it yourself? You're one pharmacy calling the other pharmacy. And I wasn't rude. I was nice about it. He said, yeah, you're right. Well, I don't know why I said that. And, well, apparently the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing in any of this. That should be the title. Because I guess he didn't. Or maybe he did, and they failed to listen to him. This happens too many times. They fail to listen. Okay? And that's what I've seen. I have seen it. They fail to listen. And anyway, so it got, he ordered it from them. He said it was probably going to be, he would tell them to make sure it's that certain generic, and it was for the blood pressure medication, and it would be delivered and whatever. And I checked on my app, and I saw, when it was going to be delivered and everything like that. Well, it showed up. And I get only a 30-day supply, like the pop-up says. And they filled it for 90 days. Okay. Mistake number one. They filled it for 90 days. And they gave me the wrong generic. So I called. Oh, you betcha. I got it in the mail. I was actually going out the door, and it was on the doorstep, so I had to stop and open and see. But I was actually going out the door to get some food for Adam and I. It was a Sunday, I think. And so I called him. And then the one that I go to, and he says, well, ma'am, since you got it from them, you need to call them. I said, okay. So I said, the guy was supposed to tell them. Your tech was supposed to tell them. I'm going to call them. I called, and he said, ma'am, there was a pop-up and all this stuff. They should have done it right. So I called the other one. This happens too many times, by the way. And I called the one where it actually came from. And talk about rude. And basically, this is stuff that was supposed to be delivered free. I pay for the delivery. I pay for the monthly service. But they tell me I have to go pick it up. It was a 2-hour round trip. Okay. This is blood pressure medication. And anyway, they charged me. No, this was a month. And they charged me for another month. Okay, I go and pick it up and exchange the one that they gave me for the one that I was supposed to get. And they charged me again. It wasn't 90 days. They just charged me again. And I say this about 90 days because it happened later on. Okay. So, and I told them, I have these things on video. I video stuff now about these places. Oh, yes, I do. And I put it up on a channel I don't use, but I don't make them public, but I video them, so I have receipts. Like people call them these days, receipts. Okay. And now they weren't apologetic at all. So I didn't check to see that, it was just handing her the one they gave me and getting mine back. I didn't check to see if they had charged my credit card, okay? I didn't check it until I got home, and I said, what's this charge on there? and on the receipt, the actual receipt. And I called him and I told him, and the woman that answered, she didn't say anything. I mean, I think she said, well, let me let you talk to the pharmacist or something like that. And it was really rude attitude. Instead of apologetic for causing the customer so much trouble that the customer had to go all the way out there, and then they got charged and all that stuff. They did it wrong in the first place. No, it was more like they tried to turn around and blame me somehow. It was my fault somehow. No, there was nothing that they could say that was my fault, but just the attitude was like, I'm not going to apologize to you. You're inconveniencing us by calling us and letting us know these things. We're busy here. See, that kind of blame, how do you say it, a sneaky little blame or something, or just making sure you're somehow wrong and they're not wrong. Very arrogant. And then they connected me to somebody else, and it was just the same kind of thing. And I think at the end of it, I said something like, well, I'll just get this, call the corporate office and have them resolve this issue or something like that. I said something like that. I don't know what it was, and then I hung up. Yeah, it was ridiculous. Well, yeah, then I had to go to my doctor. I don't know, I think it was a week or two later. And I went to my doctor, did a video about that, and that's the video I put up. And then I dropped off my prescription, and I mentioned some of this in that video. I dropped off my prescription at that, not the location where I get the medication, but the nearest one, right down the road from it. Dropped off my prescription, which were for 3 months on all my medication refills, and I told them when I drove through the drive-thru, told the woman, I said, do not fill these. I do not get my medication at this location. Just put it on file. That's very plain. That is very plain. And during the while, she kept interrupting me, saying, yes, ma'am, I understand. Yes, ma'am, I understand. Yes, ma'am, I understand. Okay. It was filled that day at that location for 90 days. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Not only is it there's a pop-up that says 30 days, I told them not to fill it. Yeah, and at some point when it caused so much problems, I couldn't order it online. I couldn't do this because they had it there, and I had to actually go to the place, the one I get it, which is not close, and not that one, but my own, and pick it up and talk to them and tell them what happened. And they said, well, ma'am, you need to call them. And I called them, and same kind of attitude. They're not going to apologize. Now, that first one where I had to go, they should have actually, for real customer service, what they should have done is said, ma'am, we're going to have it sent there to your home. Whether they're drive here and drop it off, I don't care. I don't think they can do that legally. Or have it expressed. Seriously, they need to pay the consequences to their actions of not being there when they're there. And I know that's bizarre, and some people say, well, you have a high sense of entitlement. No, I have an entitlement. If I pay for something, I want to get it. And I want to get it like it should be. I've got a video to do on that. Something happened the other day, and that was at a store. Really bad. But anyway, so this is the kind of world I live in. I might as well say that, is people not being there when they're there, not doing their job. And I know this is not just here, but this place, this area, certain parts of it's not 100% across the board, but I realize that certain parts of it, people don't do their jobs, and they're rude, but it had a reputation of being narcissistic. The area, that's the reputation. Reputations are not good. It's not 100%, like I said. And I when I first heard about this place, this area, around 30 years ago, that's what it was. That's what I heard about it. And it's very true. It's very part of the culture. You've probably heard people say that narcissism and these narcissistic behaviors are, increasing. Well, yeah, I've seen it. But this is the thing, it's when people do things wrong, it's kind of like you have a problem because you're just not accepting of it. And it's you who has the problem. When they do you wrong and it causes an inconvenience to you, you shouldn't say anything. That's just how it is. That kind of attitude, I'm not kidding. And they're not about to apologize. They're instead going to flip it, Flip it. Okay. But I'm looking at my notes here for a second and give me a breath. Yeah, I mentioned both of them. Now, that's just the recent ones. Just recent. Now, I need to order, oh, there's a dog. I need to reorder my blood pressure medication. I'm getting a headache just thinking about that thought. Yeah, and of course the app says the day that I picked it up last time, well, I had to go there to pick it up because of the other location screw up. So I cannot really wait until that day because I need them before, by that time, and they need to send them. So each and every time I order, it seems like a medication, almost every time the app is supposed to make it easy, the app makes it difficult. So I have to call them, order it through them instead of just ordering it on my app. I have to call the pharmacy, wait on hold for whoever knows how long, and reorder it and tell them this is what it does. Yes, ma'am, we know. Yeah, well, if you know, fix it. And of course, it's not them, it's the corporation that needs to fix it. And then go through all that process. And I had tried to get them where they were closer, or at least the same, get them all. And I said, no way am I going to have all my pills in one box delivered. No, it would get lost or something like that. No. But 2 of them I did. The way they have their app, it was all so screwed up. And that's not even going into detail about the doctor's office screwing up the medication. Not this time, but the time before. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's enough for this one for now. And so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I don't even know how long it is. But how many of you have to deal with this? I mean, on a regular basis, month to month. I have to see my doctor every 3 months. And even if I got my pills 30 days supply, who's going to guarantee they're going to do it right? They don't. So, yeah. Anyway, you tell me. Is it this bad for you? Let me know. If you feel comfortable, leave a comment below. I'll talk to you on another video. Bye.